Good evening. How are you? Well, it's Labor Day weekend, and it's not being celebrated for and as it should be, which is that we have a political regime that would conceal what the true numbers are of those who are employed, a government that would cut back the ability to have health care, a government that would cut back education, which I still think and believe is the escape route for many people who can find in education a pathway to equality, being a contributive member of society, and making a difference in the world. I don't say this to the exclusion of whatever other way one can learn or make their way, but this administration does not appear to be interested in that. This administration appears to be interested in building an army somewhere, And for what reason? Because Trump is, as most wannabe dictators are, very insecure and expects that if he does not beat people to the punch, they'll punch him out, metaphorically or otherwise. So, let's see. On this weekend, I saw something that struck me as strange, but I guess believable. And this is kind of a symbol system for what's going on in America. The image of going to a beach and having fun and running in the sand is compromised by the fact that we're being warned there's too much fetal contamination in the waters off our shore. You want to do something, Trump, go clean up our shoreline instead of allowing people to drill. The Attorney General of the United States, Bondi, is awfully anxious, like Trump is. And so she fired a Department of Justice employee for giving the finger to a National Guardsman in that person's city. So you don't have the First Amendment in the Justice Department. No. If you try to criticize somebody, you get fired. Now, I remember the 60s and I remember 68, and people with clubs did a lot of damage to civil liberties, physically to people, to the soul of America. And now, all you have to do is give the finger to somebody in the National Guard and you lose your job. Oh, don't you dare protest. We can't have a dissenting voice. They don't have the camps yet, but you wonder if they will have them. You may not contradict fascists. That's the new rule in America. Equal justice before law? Pshaw, how antiquated. How silly of you to think that that's what you have to do. Maxine Waters, Congresswoman from California, doesn't mince words, very direct. She's saying it's time to consider how unfit the president is and to consult with the 25th Amendment, which is the amendment for secession. Excuse me, that's interesting. Succession, not secession. And why? Because he's unfit. He should be removed, and the 25th Amendment to the Constitution makes provision for that. You got to wonder what Vance thinks, because he'd be part of that operation. I think he could find comfort in removing Trump. Would we find comfort with him replacing Trump? I don't think so, because he's another different kind of baboon. Apologies to baboons. Now, one of the reasons that got Maxine Waters all upset is because of her tour of duty and financial matters on the Hill. And Trump is seeking to remove a federal governor, a Fed governor, from office, Lisa Cook. And Trump's view seems to be, I say you're guilty about how you handled a mortgage on your home, and so you should resign, and then I can replace you. Well, that's not going anywhere, and I believe Ms. Cook has a case pending in court. I'd be very surprised if on the hearsay, unsupported defamation of Trump, with a very clear objective as to why he would make this shit up is going to be overridden by her argument that she's appointed by statute and can spend some more time there, years in fact. So I think there's a lot of reason why Trump should mind his own business, but he does in a way. He sold that office 10 times over. You know, when you look at his lifetime, what does he like to do? Nothing substantive. He wants his name on buildings. The guy wants a name on a building. That's what he wants. And he wants to be paid for you to use his name on a building. And so, what does he want as president? He wants to get even. He wants his name. He wants money. Perhaps he still wants sex, although there's some evidence that he has certain physical problems. And I don't wish him well. I couldn't wish him well ever. How could you be so hypocritical? This man causes us pain and suffering, compromises the history of our country, doesn't care how it's going to affect people. So no, I don't care about his health. And I don't believe what we're told about his health. I mean, yes, I believe he's probably sick, but if they say he's sick and we know it, it's probably worse. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Go take care of your health and leave the country alone. That would be a really good change, wouldn't it? So, I think that Trump, who's been in, quote, my neighborhood today, at least the county, there's a golf course here. I think he should stay out of Virginia. I don't want him here. Any more than that guy who lost his job for giving the finger to a National Guardsman. We don't want him here. And if he comes into your neighborhood, carry a sign, even if you're one person, and say, get out of my neighborhood. You've caused nothing but grief here. You're against people of all sorts of people. You're against the gays, you're against blacks, you're against Hispanics. Some days you're anti-Semitic, other days you're fighting for fascist suppression. Who knows who you are? You are an everyman. You will do what every man might do if he could be all things at all times at all people, so he could have power, so he could have money, so he could have sex, so he could rewrite history to make himself sound as if he was somebody worth knowing, when in fact, when he's gone, we will erase his names from all the books, take down all the statues of the man, and grind them into dust, because that's what he deserves. And that's what this country deserves. And we should make it clear in history why we did this. Because we as a country are better than him, better than what he is, better than what he wants for people. And in this venue, keep in mind, we follow what happened in California, and is still going on, to the betterment of the struggle of resisting Trump. And the Illinois governor, Pritzker, he's saying, don't you, Trump, try to invade Chicago. And the Chicago mayor, Johnson, is instructing his armed forces not to collaborate with federal agents or joint law enforcement. We don't want any of that. We're not going to help you. We're not going to do it. So go out, go to a couple of shows and go home. We don't want you here. You shouldn't be here. There isn't an emergency that requires you to be here. And someday this guy's going to turn against you. He's not going to pay you for what you're doing. He's going to compromise your children and your health, your well-being, and the air you breathe. When will that sink in? The courts get it. Trump's tariffs have been declared wrong. He doesn't have the power, the authority to use emergency power to impose taxes on imports to make the deals he's been doing. That's our guy. Everywhere you turn, he's been doing the wrong thing, and it's catching up with him. It's like we're running down a long alleyway, and Chubskin slowed down recently. People have pushed back. He's fighting against more resistance. If we keep it up, he'll be gone. And the question will be, what do we put in his stead? And given the criminality of all these people, it's almost like we need a regency to move from the temptations of dictatorship through a regency to a republic again. That's what we need. And then you want another example? Consider the fires in Bear Gulch in the state of Washington. They have ICE out there attacking migrants who are in the middle of the firefighting. Are they going to tell us some magician is going to solve that situation? Forgive the sigh. I'm sure you feel the same way. We have to stay the mark. We have to push forward from that mark. We have to make it clear, friend, casual acquaintance, anybody that you can, to say, this cannot stand. This is not us. This is not America. And even if you think of yourself as apolitical, this can crush you to the ground. Compromise your children's future. Compromise the older members of your family. Make the color of your skin the determinant whether you have equal opportunity. None of this is acceptable. So, those are a couple of thoughts I have, and I say goodbye to you from my cathedral of trees, and I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.